hype around cryptocurrency these days, I wanted to hit you guys up with some context to help you understand what the heck is going on. Underlying the frenzy to make money in crypto land are some very important fundamentals that will give you some context about what all the hype is really about. In this video, I'm going to share with you why crypto matters and why you should think about getting involved. What's up, it's Christina for Crypto Angels. If you're a complete noob to crypto, which, let's be honest, the vast majority of us are, you're probably wondering what exactly it is. Crypto is meant to act as a form of money which stores value, allowing you to exchange it for potential goods and services. It's like traditional money like the British pound, yen, or dollar, but different in many ways. We'll explain in more detail what cryptocurrencies actually are in another video. But first, we want to give you some context about what money actually is. Let's go back to school and start with the fundamentals. To understand what money is and its purpose, you need to understand what value is. Value can be described as whether something is useful, beneficial, important, or has meaning. This determination of value can be given by an individual, or it could be a consensus amongst a group. For instance, an individual may think a watch handed down throughout his family has value in the form of sentiment, whereas people not related to that individual may not perceive that same value, as the history and emotions of that watch aren't really relevant to them. If that person wanted to sell the watch, they may not get much from the average person, but they may get a pretty penny from people who collect and sell ornaments. So, in this sense, value is derived mostly from the perception of something, making some forms of value entirely subjective to the individual or specific groups. But not all value is subjective. It's safe to say that there's things that pretty much all humans see as valuable. Things like food, water, health, or oxygen. The core basics needed to survive. You could add other things like clothes, but some prefer to be more free. Same with things like social companionship, considered to be an important part of mental health, but many people are happy and prefer to be alone. Who needs real-life friends when you've got Twitch, right? So, that's value. If we take a trip back in time, our ancestors used to exchange things of value in the form of barter, which is a type of trade. Value was perceived and exchanged directly in the form of raw goods or services. Let's say my family tailors clothes, and your family sells jewelry. I provide you with my clothes, and your family gives me the jewelry in return. Pretty simple, right? This makes sense on a small scale, between trusted individuals. But as tribes grew into nations and different people began to trade with each other, we needed a better way to store value and transact that was more divisional and scalable. Divisional in the sense that buyers and sellers needed a better way to divide goods to better reflect the value of an item. For instance, trading a whole cattle for a piece of clothing just wouldn't make sense. Same way how carrying around the goods you produce when you want to buy and sell something becomes quite annoying. And due to division of labor, if I only produce clothes and you only sold honey, but if I wanted some of your honey and you don't want any of my clothes, we wouldn't be able to transact. This means there was a huge inefficiency in the ability to trade by bartering. Humans around the world needed a better medium to assign, exchange, and store value. And that's what money essentially is. A medium of exchange that stores value and is divisional and scalable. Money has come and gone in many different forms throughout history. For instance, seashells, squirrel pelts, and even knives have been used as a form of money. Going back to the concept of value, money for the most part is subjective in its value. In other words, any given form of money is only as valuable as the people willing to transact in it. This is a concept that is key to understanding modern-day fiat and cryptocurrencies. Nowadays, if you tried to pay for goods or services with seashells, you would get laughed at. But remember, there was a time and a place in history where a stash of seashells could get you a lot. Perception and consensus of value is key here. Are other people willing to accept it in exchange for goods and services? Can they then easily exchange that type of money for different goods and services? Eventually, these forms of money were discontinued, mainly due to the concept of abundance and scarcity, and the fact that people couldn't agree on what is actually a good store of value. If anybody can easily access and create the current money of choice, then the value of each individual unit of that form of money goes down. So, if you have a fixed amount of 100 seashells, let's say, in a community, and somebody goes to the beach and injects 1,000 seashells into the community, one seashell will get you less than before, because the price of goods and services are adjusted in relation to the amount of money in circulation. Make sense? So, eventually what happened was that we started moving away from commodities as a form of money into something more scarce. This was important. Precious metals in particular like gold and silver are scarce and hard to access. This meant the powerful had monopoly of control on the money in circulation. In this sense, the money supply was centralized. Also keep that in mind, as it's another important concept to understand both modern-day fiat and cryptocurrencies. Through the centralization and control of precious metal supply and also the perceived value of gold and silver worldwide, some of the supposed richest people in history, like Mansa Musa, managed to become the equivalent of modern-day trillionaires. Gold and silver was also highly divisional and scalable. You could smelt them into small bars, and also mint coins, which you could count, carry, and trade with ease. And there are also some intrinsic values in the sense that these metals had properties that made them attractive as jewelry. Gold and silver isn't widely used as a medium of exchange these days, as we eventually switched to more abundant paper, common metals, and now digital money. But it's still considered an important store of value as people want to hedge risk against modern-day fiat currency. So, that was a very brief history of money, mediums of exchange, and value. Of course, we couldn't cover everything as there's been great books written about this topic in itself. In the next video, we'll talk more about how we switched from precious metals to paper and digital currencies, what roles the banking system plays in all of this, and why people are losing faith in the modern-day monetary system. That's all for today, guys. Make sure you like, leave a comment, and subscribe for the next video. We'll see you next time.